feel like something weird is going on with these imports. Alright, OpenGL Math Tech. Tech. It's clearly an Mobject SVG OpenGL Tech Mobject.py. Anyway. So that, I think, is everything I need for that. Let me try making a labeled dot. I can just use this example. Several labeled dots. Let's see if I can run this from here. Oh. Well, it correctly, I think, says that this is invalid syntax. So, oh, I have to put an import there. And it does the same not found thing. Oh, wait. But with this, that was found, I guess. Key error points. Oh, this is an OpenGL. It'd be nice if there was a better warning for if you use a non-OpenGL object. Okay, so what happened this time? Text symbol has no attribute data. So it went into mobject.py, which is already a problem. Returning this text symbol. Wait, where did this happen? OpenGL label dot. Oh, it's using a regular math tech on 515. In tech mobject.py. Well, it shouldn't even use that. No, I think it actually does have to. Oh, it's within the label dot. There's regular tech. So these need to be updated. Okay, let's see if these are, oh. See if this is any better. No animations, that's true. I'll just interact here. Okay, so that wasn't so bad. That camera angle always annoys me. Okay, so that wasn't too hard to bring over. With that, maybe I can bring over the graph now. So I go back to the OpenGL graph. All right, import all of this stuff. And that'll have to be OpenGL. And so will this and this. And that. Okay. Let's try this. Okay. So now, let me see how easy it is to configure this. I might end up actually not using it, but I hope I won't have to do that. Vertices, I can pass in a list, I guess. No, they have to be hashable. Labels, label fill color, layout. Okay. Graph, vertices, edges. So there's quite a lot of stuff you can pass to it. Let me see if... Okay, I'm gonna try to pass it an OpenGL dot with without any fill opacity. So I think that'll go in vertex config, a dictionary containing keyword arguments to be passed to the class specified by vertex type. So here, I'll say fill opacity. Put that to 0, see if that changes anything. And now they don't appear, so that's great. Wait, how do I quit that? Let's put the fill opacity to 0 and the stroke opacity. Great. Wait, how do I quit that? Let's put the fill opacity to 0 and the stroke opacity to not 0. And that didn't help at all. Oh, I put it to 0. That should be 1. Okay. Nope, still invisible. Maybe it's black by default or something like that. Alright, here's what I need to do. Set the background color to, guess I'm not importing the community colors. Make this logo white. Now with this, we logo black for the stroke color. And actually the edges will also need to be that color. So basically this. Okay. And they are not that color, which is dandy. How is edge config used? If edge config, there's a default for KV and edge config.items. If it's none, then it's empty. Then the default is this. If edge config, which I guess means if it's not empty, then it's going to update it. KV for KV and edge config.items. If K, the key, is not in edges, is it meant to be stroke color instead of... Oh, did I misspell that? Thanks. Thank you for that. See, this is why using dictionaries for configuration is bad. Great, so now it does appear. Although the dots still don't. So the vertices have a stroke. I wonder if dots... I'm gonna go to OpenGL dot. You can increase their radius. So maybe I go to this and I just do radius. I just make it higher. I don't know what default dot radius is. Dot radius 0.08. That's super small. So even I made this 1. You'd think that would make a difference. Nope. They have a stroke color and the stroke opacity. Okay, I'm gonna set the fill opacity to 1. Just to see if I can make these... Oh. Here it is. That's really weird to me, because this shows me that the nodes are in fact appearing. But I guess the stroke color isn't being passed along. Star star self.vertex config. Is it something with the dot class that it isn't allowed to have? Oh, it's stroke width at 0. So let's make this to 4, which is the default. So let's make this to 4, which is the default. Great. Now, even that is not quite what I want, unfortunately. I think I can have this the default radius, so I think, at least. Yeah, because I want these edges not to go inside of the vertices. I wonder if it can do that. Look at self.edges here. So this is a dictionary. It's gonna map pairs into edge type. That's gonna be a class, I think. Yeah, and this just goes to the centers. Maybe I'll have to update this class to make it not go into the center of the vertices. Unless update edges does that? I doubt it though. For parent edge. Yeah, this just moves the edges to where the vertices went. Dang. I'm gonna pretty much fix this. And this uses put start and end on too. So this will have to be updated as well. Okay. Well, before I go changing that... Oh, and I guess this failed. Flake checks. Do we have something in addition to black now? It passed linting. Yeah, okay. Anyway, deal with that later. Let's see if I can find anything for the graph that'll offset these edges. I'm pretty sure there won't be. Vertices, edges, labels. Whether vertices are labeled, won't be that or that. Only for automatically generated layouts. Don't think that'll help either. Yeah. Yeah. This is kind of doing it. But I think only because it's filling these in completely. But that'll look pretty bad against this sort of background if these were just one color without any outline. Layout circular. This partite graph will do that automatically. Yep, I'm losing hope. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. How many changes have I made already? Basically only brought over the OpenGL graph. I'm gonna add a flag to this. that'll prevent the edges from going to the center. Labels, fill color, vertex type, edge type, edge config. I don't think edge config is a good place to do it. It'll have to be something like edges, connect borders, connect borders. It's false by default. What would be a good name to signify the fact that it's only going to the borders rather than the centers? I don't know, connect border is probably fine. So then here, where it's doing this, it won't want to be to the center. But where would it want to be? I think get critical point could help here. But then, I'm not sure if OpenGL objects have get critical point. I think they only have like the bounding box points pretty much. So what would be a good way to do this? Because I could do... What I could do is compute an offset vector, and then I'll do like plus vec times u dot get radius, something like this. Maybe like u dot radius. And this will be a negative vector. And this would offset the edge to the edge of the node. But you aren't required to pass vertices that have a radius attribute. So here's what I think I'll do. I call this offset edges by radius. Just false by 0, and this is going to require that this has a radius attribute. So say if yeah, I think it's gonna have to save that configuration as well. Because in update edges, it's also going to need that. Well, I guess it's in an updater, so maybe that'll form a closure around it. So maybe I don't have to save it. Maybe I can just go here and say if not has attribute. I have to iterate through the vertices, right? For v and self.vertices. Although it's not looking at self.vertices, it's just indexing self at u, whatever u is. So to see what get atcher, get item, I guess. This is looking at self.vertices. Okay. And I guess self.vertices is a list or something. Now it's a dictionary. Okay. Okay, so for vertex, self.vertices dot values, I think that'll return a list. If not, has a atcher. Do I just need to assert this? This is only if I'm doing this, offset the edges by the radius. For vertex in each of the vertices, assert that it has a radius. And then I'm going to write a slightly different algorithm to set these. But if I run this, I think it shouldn't crash. Great. Whereas if I put like not here, I think it would crash. Is it trying to do that? And nope. Whereas if I put like not here, I think it would crash. Is it trying to do that? And nope, that doesn't crash either. Oh, because I'm not passing the attribute. Okay, let's check that. Great, and that crashes like I expect it to. I think there's a way to... I think if I put a message here, it'll like print that when it crashes from this assertion. I think. Yeah, it does. So I'll say offset edges by radius requires vertices with a radius attribute. Or I could say better, past offset by radius, but vertex, then I should print the vertex somehow. Probably like this, do an F string, but vertex has no radius attribute. Okay, past offset edges by radius, but this thing has no radius attribute. So now if I run this, we'd have to put in a class, like a weird class for the vertex type. Okay, I'll just put in vertex type equals like something that doesn't make any sense. Maybe I'll just do ellipse. And then if I do this, try to run this. Oh my gosh, it worked. I guess ellipses have a radius. Okay, if I do square, surely this doesn't have a radius. Great, that's perfect. I do want this to be a dot though. Alright, this is actually a good time for me to figure out how the band works. Great. Since I've never done that before. Okay. So that works as I expect. Now here, for each of these, I'm going to want to offset it by that vector. Okay. For UV and edges. I think it'd be better to just unroll this loop. So let me do this. And just copy this. Yeah. I'll comment this for now. I'll just say self.edges equals an empty dictionary. Do this. Self.edges at view comma v. equals basically this, the edge type. So this should be the exact same code as there was down there. Okay, so if I were to run that, nice. And the difference here is that I can compute that offset vector. So, say u, radius, offset. Okay, then I have to get that critical point, right?